How's it going, everyone? It's Avi from Weather Sponge. Today is February 20th, 2022. As today, we're going to focus on two major snowstorms that are expected to move through the northern Midwest as well as the Northeast. But before I begin, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather-related content. Make sure to like if you like this video, and make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather-related content. So let's begin by taking a look at the current radar for the lower 48 of the United States, and we do see some snow showers centered right around Montana and areas further westward, as well as this is a clipper system that's going to trigger enough convection for a major snowstorm to occur throughout the northern Midwest. And not only that, on the back side of this clipper system, we're going to see just enough of a strong northerly flow to pretty much trigger the next major snowstorm for the Northeast that could dump maybe close to a foot of snow in the Northeast if this storm ends up strengthening as forecast. But let's now look at the computer models to see how this Northeast snowstorm will develop. As first, we're going to take a look at the Northeast snowstorm, and then we'll focus in on the major Midwest snowstorm that's currently more closer to happening within the next couple of days. So if you were to take a look, you see that this Midwest snowstorm brings a heavy amount of snow to a large area of people in the northern Midwest. And you see that on the backside of this low pressure system, we see just enough of a strong northerly flow to see a pretty significant jet stream move through the United States, including the western portion of the United States as well, where we're seeing cooler than average temperatures and snow very far south in the southwest. So you might want to watch out for maybe some snow showers in areas you typically don't see snow, such as maybe some portions of southern California, as well as the northern portion of Arizona and close to the Las Vegas metropolitan area. Watch out for some snow showers headed into the midweek of this week. And if we were to continue to move forward, you see that this low pressure system, which is pretty much a derivative of this clipper system bringing heavy amount of snow throughout the Midwest, is going to move further eastward, and we're going to see it develop as this moves further eastward and as it continues to encounter a little bit more humidity, as well as a very warm air mass that's very lightly dense to the point where the buoyancy is going to be very high for the air molecules and the water vapor. So we're going to see this low pressure system gradually intensify as this heads further eastward. So if I were to show you, you see that as this moves eastward, we see the cold air interact with the very warm and humid air mass that's located in the southeast, and as a result, we see convection occur along the Texas border and extending to areas further northward and approaching the Ohio River Valley as well, with some heavier snow showers on the northern side of this storm. And if we were to continue to move forward, this is based on the Gfs model, the latest Gfs model run, I should say. You see that it brings a pretty heavy amount of snow throughout areas just north of the Ohio River Valley, while those along the Ohio River Valley are experiencing wintry mix for the most part to maybe freezing rain. That could be the issue if we do see enough convergence between this northerly flow and the southerly flow located south of this low pressure system. And again, if we were to continue to move forward, this storm continues to move eastward. The storm gradually intensifies, and as a result, we see the bands of snow become a lot more heavy and the squall lines become a lot more heavy, where the precipitation rates will be a lot heavier as a result of this storm really intensifying, and the strength of the convection really intensifies, and we see a heavy amount of snow throughout the Northeast. This happens right around the Friday time frame before it eventually moves to the Northeast, I'd say by this coming weekend on Saturday. So this would be a major snowstorm if the Gfs scenario was completely correct. But even if we were to take a look at the European model, which is another very reliable forecast model, it is also expecting a major snowstorm to impact the Northeast as well as the Midwest. However, there are definitely some key differences between the two computer models that we're going to need to pay very close attention to over the next several days. Let me show you guys the European model. Okay, it isn't showing up right now. Let me move to the European model right now. Okay, so this is the European models case where we do see, again, convection develop right along the Ohio River Valley and areas further westward, closer to Oklahoma City and the Texas-Oklahoma border. We do see some convection develop. However, there are definitely some key differences because you see that this low pressure trajectory is a lot further northward, which means that areas that are much further northward experience snowfall, while in the GFS model's case, of course, the snow is a lot further southward thanks to the more southward trajectory of this low pressure system. So this could be a threat for areas as far north as Chicago, Detroit, Milwaukee, if this were to take the European model's scenario when it comes to the trajectory of the low pressure system. And not only will the snow be northward, but the rain snow line as well will be northward. So places that would experience snow in the GFS models scenario might not necessarily experience snow in the European models scenario, since of course the rain snow line is a lot further northward. So those in the GFS model who are experiencing snowfall are just experiencing rain in this scenario, or at least a lot of places that are experiencing snow in the GFS model. And same goes for Northeast, where you see that it's much more of a rain event to more of a wintry mix event for New York City. And New York City is experiencing a little bit of snow before it changes on to rain. And while the GFS model does eventually also expect New York City and surrounding areas to change over to rain eventually, the GFS model is a lot more lenient in bringing more of a snow event for New York City and Philadelphia than a rain event. But in the European model's case, it's more of a rain event than a snow event for the areas further southward. But you see that in both scenarios, Boston is experiencing a major snowstorm. So we can honestly say that for areas, I'd say north of Hartford, Connecticut, it's more likely you'll experience a major snowstorm out of this. And both of these two reliable computer models have been persistent on the idea that at least some sort of major snowstorm will impact the Northeast and potentially the eastern portion of the Midwest. So it's definitely something we're gonna need to pay very close attention to, especially with the trajectory, because that's still highly uncertain at this point. When it comes to strength, it's still very similar to the GFS model. So I'd say when it comes to strength and the amount of snowfall, it's very similar between two computer models, but the uncertainty remains about where exactly that the low pressure trajectory will be. And it really all depends on this ridge that's located to the east of this low pressure system, because if this ridge is a little bit stronger, of course we're going to see a stronger southerly flow that'll steer this low pressure system further northward, which would make it more of a rain event for areas further southward. However, if this ridge ends up being weaker, we're going to see more of a southward trajectory where we're going to see the snow impact areas further southward than further northward. So definitely a key thing we're going to need to pay attention to within the next couple of days when it comes to the trajectory of this low pressure system. And the certainty did rise a little bit more today because yesterday the trajectories were almost completely different because the snow was a lot further westward in the European model's case than the GFS model's case. However, it seems like the European model is leaning a little bit more to the GFS, not by much. There's still a pretty high amount of uncertainty when it comes to trajectory, but it's at least a little bit closer today, which is something we want to see because that definitely raises the certainty of this forecast. But still, 5 days out, take this with a grain of salt throughout the Midwest and Northeast. So make sure to at least be aware of this for the next couple of days throughout the Midwest and Northeast. But let me show you the amount of snowfall the European model is forecasting at this time. So if I were to show you that right now, let me pull it up right now. So this is the amount of snowfall that the European model is currently forecasting at this time. You see that it's bringing a heavy amount of snow throughout the Northeast, the interior portion east, which is definitely something we're gonna need to worry about for the Northeast. And you see that the snow is a lot further northward than the Ohio River Valley in the European model's case. So there's still uncertainty regarding the forecast, but it's still something to be aware about throughout the Midwest and the Northeast, where you see that the Northeast is experiencing over 6 inches of snow in some areas. This includes Boston as well. So if I were to show you the GFS model at this time, let me show you that right now. You see that you're gonna see that the GFS model is forecasting a heavier amount of snow throughout the Northeast as a result of a little bit more strength with the storm, but not by much. So if I were to show you the GFS model right now, I apologize that it's so laggy. I don't know what's going on. But as I'll show you right now, hopefully this does load up. So let me pause this. Okay, now it's here. So if I were to show you guys the GFS model, if this were to load up, let me pause it real quick to just make sure everything's going well. So this is what the GFS model is forecasting. You see that it's bringing a large area of over 6 inches of snow to the Northeast, and you see that snow is a bit further southward than the European model. So again, there's still uncertainty with the forecast, but either way, this is a major snowstorm for the Northeast and the Midwest. So you definitely want to be aware of this throughout those areas, because it seems likely that you will experience a major snowstorm out of this throughout the Northeast and the Midwest. So make sure to keep that in mind in those areas. Again, the trajectory really all depends on this ridge that's going to be located east of it. If it's stronger, we're more likely to see track further northward and less snow for the areas further southward. But if the ridge is weaker, we're expected to receive more snow for the areas further southward. So definitely something we're going to need to pay very close attention to within the next couple of days. Now, let me show you guys the warnings that are issued throughout the United States at this time, because we of course do have another snowstorm we're going to need to worry about in the throughout the northern Midwest. If I were to show you guys that right now, you see that the North Dakota, South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin are under winter storm watches, but now we do have winter storm warnings issued throughout Montana and surrounding areas, where we do see winter weather advisories as a result of this Clipper system moving through, and we're going to see snow, a heavy amount of snow, potentially over 6 inches of snow, and potentially close to a foot in some areas in the northern Midwest. So it's definitely something we're going to need to pay close attention to. Let me show you guys the Futurecast radar over the next several days. So as of the 10 a.m. So at around 10 a.m. you're gonna see that the snowfall should look like this, where we do see the snowfall, we're gonna see the snowfall. Okay, I apologize, my computer's acting up a little bit, but so let me fix this real quick. So let me. Okay, so I can't show you the current radar, at least the forecast radar right now, but I could show you the ice accumulation that's expected to happen throughout the Midwest, where we could see up to 1/4 of an inch of ice, which is definitely very concerning, especially right around the Milwaukee area, right around northern Michigan. We're also going to see over 1/4 of an inch of ice expected, and up to 1/2 an inch, which would just cause just an immense amount of devastation, and would definitely could bring out power as a result of all the ice weighing down on the branches, and it could be completely dangerous to drive out on the road. So make sure to keep that in mind throughout Wisconsin and northern Michigan. Now, in terms of my snowfall forecast, so for a lot of the northern Midwest from this snowstorm, I'm expecting over 6 to 12 inches of snow. This includes areas like Minnesota, Wisconsin should get involved, Green Bay should get involved, and you see from this next snowstorm, take it with a grain of salt, but I'm expecting 6 to 12 inches of snow, as it is expected to be a major snowstorm for the Northeast. Really all depends on where exactly that rain snow line will be to really determine the impacts for those areas. But I'll make sure to update you guys once we do get more certainty with the forecast. But yeah, guys, that gets that for this video. I thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather-related content. Make sure to like if you like this video. Make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather-related content. And I hope you guys have a great day.